Let's go, baby. Inside the studios.
I asked Sal yesterday, is there anything you need from me? And he said, yes, pizza. And I started thinking, wait a second, that sounds like an opportunity. So you push the button. I love the tier. And it just goes through this whole beautiful website that talks about how someone is stealing Sal's pizza. Here's a beautiful door cam of the pizza being delivered. Sal opens it, and there's a slice missing. What the hell? I didn't do it. I did nothing. Here's Sal. You see, he's very frustrated because of the missing pizza slice. Every delivery, every time, and here's a variety of Exhibit A, the different slices, the different deliveries, and every time it's the same story. This was so much fun to make. Finally, a call to action of how you can make a difference. And your generous contribution goes directly to Watkins because he's clearly very hungry. And what do you think happens if you click on Join, Save the Pizza Today, or Donate Now? It's Rick Astley and you got Rick rolled.
Go back to the video. Let me see it again, the Rick Astley.
I look like some kind of minority that's not Mexican.
Legs. You're both wearing shorts.
Yeah, isn't that nice? You're a good dancer, Sal. I saw Wikipedia. I did not know this, but Wikipedia is banning AI-generated content. If you take AI-generated content that's very well written and then slightly modified by a human being, how do you know?
Kate and I were talking yesterday. Is like we're gonna automatically insert misspellings into all our AI-generated sites.
Poor grammar. Use poor grammar.
I think that could be really interesting. I'm kind of excited about it.
But what now? I missed part of what you said.
The authenticity of mistakes, sort of the messiness being actually desirable.
Well, I watch a lot of YouTube, and you can just immediately, just like within the first 10 seconds, AI and not even good AI generated.
Yeah.
Sloppy, lazy AI generated script. Here's the deal. It's like, oh, this is a game changer.
I had experience last night. I'm kind of exploring a tool, and I went to YouTube looking what people were talking about it, and man, every video I found was just AI generated. Like, oh, just stop. Just couldn't watch anything because it was so AI, just over the top.
Think back.
My biggest challenge was the mundane demands that kept me away from working with AI, like having to do things myself. It's, trying to fix someone's email system, an angry customer, right? That
Claude
was the
talked to this guy
primary
for a little while.
Exactly. I don't like this workflow. I want to do something different.
Catches you quick, doesn't it? Grabs you and pulls you in.
It 100% what Kate said this morning. You go back to do it the old way, it's like, oh my gosh. And the old way was just 6 months ago.
3 months ago for some folks,
It
it's
was
like
supposed to be the new way.
it was supposed to be the new way, and suddenly it seems like a Model T.
I had tried Comet to create Webflow page back then, but because they get control of the browser. I wonder if any of that has improved since then. Because I think it's still it's still doing screenshots though.
Yeah, but it can copy paste. Don't you think it can access that?
You would think so.
Comet did very well with Shopify. I would give it a list of tags, and I need you to make a smart collection for only these products, and it would do it so fast. I was like, so I think Shopify has been more friendly, I suppose, to AI agents.
Great. They've always had a great API.
It's interesting too if they are being friendly, because I think I read last week that Amazon is blocking like AI agents like Comet and Claude for people buying Amazon. Like they want humans clicking through Amazon.
You must click human.
So it's an opportunity for Shopify, right? To come over here, bring it to me.
Even mundane tasks, Comet helps me a lot. I had 40 images to share with Sal, and they were all Higgs-field name titles in the name, and I didn't want to send that to the client. And I just told it, go in and rename these topic 001, topic 002. And it said, oh, well, I can't do that, but here's an easy way to do it. Look, I know how to do it myself. And I said, why can't you do it? And it said, okay. And it, what?
It's so exciting to be able to just say something and then it happens.
Yeah. I had an issue with ClickUp where Claude pulled an open Claude on me and deleted a bunch of tickets it wasn't supposed to delete. There's tons of them. And in ClickUp, there's a trash where you can restore deleted tasks, but there's no bulk. There's no bulk delete. So I got to be like restoring it. So I asked Claude in the browser, his extension, hey, can you restore this for me? And it helped me create a script, pasted it in there, and then all of a sudden I see my browser just restore, like over and over and over and over and over and over. It's just super, super quickly. And for me, it was like, oh, this is pretty neat because I don't have to. It was too slow, but I asked it, can you just make me a script?
And it was Claude that made the error in the first place?
Yeah, user error with Claude.
Okay.
You know, I'm using Claude to create.
Claude was just following orders.
Yeah, for our clients, and the dashboard created like 7 tasks as a test. I was like, okay, well let's delete. Maybe I said delete the tasks. Maybe I should have said let's delete those tasks that you created. Was what I should have said. I guess
you said the tasks.
Yeah. Okay. Boom. Everything's gone. I was like, oh crap. Yeah. I had to restore everything.
Dude.
But it was the exact same thing as OpenClaw. Like it just deleted everything.
What's the common denominator?
Crime repaired.
I know. Exactly.
Nothing to see here. That was a good one.
And that's why it's been 3 weeks since I've mentioned it. Since it happened, I haven't told anyone.
I have maintained a workflowy list of ideas for well over a decade. And I love throwing ideas onto it. Just like the satisfaction of putting something in your cart and not checking out. Just putting the idea on the list like scratches an itch and I can move on from an obsession. So I had a thought like I should get these ideas fed into some kind of automated bot and start building my ideas for me if they're viable.
Sounds OpenClaw-y.
Yeah, and Claude was like, yeah, no problem. Let's use the agent SDK. We can spin up these different agents with jobs, and there will be one that orchestrates it, handing off tasks to whoever needs to work on, and we can have the whole pipeline, and I put it together, and it is pretty cool. But it is using the Anthropic platform, and I want to use my Claude code, plus the dispatch with my phone and co-work, all of that ecosystem, right, which isn't using an API key. It's like your chat account.
I saw that they are beta testing agents within Claude Code. I've seen it in the extension where you enable it in the environment and it runs the sub agents. I think they're not called sub agents. They're something else, but they all run in the same chat. So is that not what you did? Is that what you want to do?
I went through the Anthropic documentation and I read every page they have on agents, and it's very exciting. Yeah. Until you get to the last page, and then the page after that, and then the page after that, and the page after that, because all the pages with the real information have coming soon on it. I hit the end of the road on this feature. So I went to their skill jar, the learning platform, and I took the course on the agents, and the functionality is in Claude command line, Claude code. So the desktop app doesn't have it, but if you're using the command line Claude code, you can set up agents, and they're really cool. And I could talk about them at length, but once again, they're not necessarily intuitive because they serve a purpose, but they're not a catch-all. They don't serve every purpose.
Can you share one or two?
Sure. Right. So in my flow, I wanted to build web apps. So I was going to have like the front end designer or like a back end and a QA and a deploy agent. And they would do their job and then pass it off to the next one. Well, apparently that's a bad model. You'll get bad results from that. You know, the sub agents, at least with Claude, prefer, or it's better to pass whatever they do up to the main agent, the owner, the orchestrator, and it will take that and give it to the appropriate sub agent. So it's less of a chain and it's more of a back and forth to the orchestration agent, let's say. Cool. But even then, one of the biggest benefits of having an agent do it versus having the main Claude do it for you, because either of them could, like, just because I tell this agent you're better at Python doesn't make it better at Python. But it does change the context window. So if this agent does something like create documentation for you, it is creating a context about that as it searches through maybe every file to document it. That's added into the context. So if that's in a sub agent, when the sub agent returns the result, the main agent doesn't have to know about on any of that stuff.
Okay.
Maybe it doesn't need to know. If it doesn't need to know about it, then don't tell it, because adding it to its context is a waste of your resources and can cause like problems, right? Not only just forgetting things, but maybe behaving in a way you didn't expect it to or want it to. So this is really about controlling context again. It's more about that than it is about like running tasks in parallel, although that's part of it. And the definition for it, okay, cool. Agents are cool. How do I make one? It's just like freaking skills. At the end of the day, it's like a text file with simple formatting of like 5 labels or whatever. And then you're essentially writing a prompt in each one. So then that prompt has its own set of like keywords that are important. So if you think about prompt engineering or whatever, the big thing last year, and making sure you're using the right language, well, that is kind of back with this. So if you want it to behave a certain way, you need to include this word specifically. And they were saying like, if this is all set up and running well, Claude should know when it needs to spawn a subagent without you telling it to. But you need to tell it to behave that way. So you have to include a certain keyword like proactively in your prompt. Okay, so you could get into the weeds with this stuff, and it is technical, but it's funny to me that, again, at the end of the day, it boils down to a markdown file, essentially.
Have you noticed when you're using Claude Code to build stuff or whatever, that it does spin up subagents, and it'll tell me, oh, let me use a subagent for this and I didn't give it any kind of, hey, dude, it sort of does it. So it seems like they're starting to bake it in already. And one thing that you said that kind of reminded me of one thing I was working on with Claude Code, with Claude, the agent SDK, rather, whatever it's called, with the Nathan automations. So I have a self healer running for it. And when the Nathan errors out, there's another workflow that it calls, and that one spins up Claude Code or Claude in a new environment, and it's taking all the error with it. And I was having issues with it during the first couple of tests because we were sending it too much context. It was just too much information, and then it was taking forever for it to come back and with the solution. So going back and forth with Claude on it, or Claude Code on it, it said we need to clip everything we don't need. So now it's only sending the little bits of pieces in the Nathan workflow that the agent will need to fix it, and it'll send it up to it, and then it'll use that data to edit the workflow. And then I had another issue this week where the Claude Code wasn't coming back with, hey, I couldn't fix it, or I need your help, or it's done. He wasn't saying anything. And going back and forth with Claude and the error log, it said that it wasn't receiving any data. So now it knows if I don't receive any data, go back and fetch it. Just go back and fetch it. It was pretty interesting.
I spent the last show we did, I spent probably, an hour or so editing out all the parts that I thought were boring or irrelevant or confidential. I told it, I don't like spending that time doing it. Can you make an agent that goes in and looks at the transcript and finds the parts that have a beginning and an end, 30 or 40 or 60-second segments, and get rid of all the boring stuff and all the confidential information? So after the show, I'll dump the transcript into the agent, into Claude, and it will give me a edited script that I dump back into Riverside, and it does the edits based off of that. There will still be human edit required after. It probably took it from 60 minutes. It'll probably be more like 15 or 20 now, and I like that.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah. And it's that, you do that over and over and over and over and over again, and you're going to find, okay, that saved 40 minutes a week. That thing saved 20 minutes. And you do this over and over. You have all these different agents, and pretty soon you have saved yourself 30 or 40 hours of grunt work a week. Doesn't mean you're not still working. It just means you've doubled your productivity. You've doubled your ability to go off and do more interesting and fun things, tackle that list of projects that you have kept for 10 years and never had a breathing moment to start working on any. Now you can, and faster and easier.
I think you've generated value and have created something that should be sold.
I think
could never be replicated quite quickly and easily by Claude.
Except people aren't doing that. If you look around, I was going to say this. I'm sorry, Sally, to step on whatever you're going to say, but I'd been wanting to bring this up. I'm looking around at people in the wild and what they're doing, and it feels to me like most people seem to have just picked up the nearest AI, if they use it at all. They just got the closest one they had, and it's fine. They're using Grok. Still a lot of people are using ChatGPT, I think, because it was so popular on South Park and everything. A lot of people are just using the search, Google search or whatever. Very few people I don't know if I've run into anyone in the wild that uses Claude.
No. As I'm going out and about, I'm like the evangelist, I'm constantly preaching AI. Are you using the tools yet, son? At least here in our region, they're not. They're just not.
I've become that guy in my family, and I'm like, stop it. Stop doing that.
I don't care.
No matter what someone says, did you try it?
I don't care. Mock me.
My wife is doing a good job of using it. She's using Gemini. What's interesting to me is, I guess because Android told her to do it, but she's not using Gemini app. She's texting with Gemini. So she's got an SMS chain, and she takes pictures of stuff, and it's just like the Gemini app. It's crazy. Every time she shows me, wow, it's crazy.
You know why I don't mind hammering people on the head over and over and over that you've got to start using AI. You've got to try. You take the courses from Anthropic, learn how to use Claude Code. You don't have to be a coder. It's because the moment they start doing it and they spend a day or two, a few hours, they've completely changed their position. They're totally in love and they'll never go back. And it's just getting them to drink the Kool-Aid. That's all.
Or not, and sell them that we will do it for them.
That's another point, isn't it? That's another strategy to take. Start telling them it's too hard. It lies to you. It doesn't work.
We say it all the time in this show. It's like YouTube, Franklin Barbecue. He's teaching everyone how to make his brisket. And there's still a line out the door. There's a line out the door at his restaurant every day. I wanted to talk about how we've been discussing communication within the company, and one little thing I think came out that was pretty useful to me. Mac mentioned workflowy this morning. I was meeting with Jen, and we were talking about the client retention dashboard and Claude and all this stuff. And she was like, I would really like to know when all these clients had a redesign, all of them. She's like, I want to know all of them. Oh, if I had talked with Mac about workflow, knowing he has this huge list, now it's like I just need to get that list from Mac and feed it to Cloud Code. It's on my list to do, and then it'll just add it. So it's like for that open communication, it really comes in handy, because otherwise I don't think I would have known that he had that list.
We need that list for MPC, don't we? And we talked about it last week. Where do we start a repository of left field ideas that we may never work on, but they sure seem interesting?
I think Obsidian is the natural place for this. I think we need an MPC shared Obsidian vault and an organized idea list that we could then feed into a machine to build these things, to do the work. But getting the ideas into a central place, I think, is key, because it's always easy to forget about those ideas when you have the opportunity to solve them. It's like, wait, what should I do?
All and we need to do is set up Obsidian.
And you can...
We need to set it up.
We do. We need to do that.
Good news. I already did.
Yeah.
For the organization, shared accounts.
I have to remove all my personal information from there. I don't want you all to see my workout schedule.
I'm excited to try it, because I've been looking for something for my personal stuff. So it'd be cool to try it out finally.
But I've spent a lot of time thinking about sharing ideas, because I think that we spawn a lot of ideas that just disappear into the abyss. And now they're easier to actualize than ever. And for example, talk about that security stuff. It's a pain in the butt, right? Two-factor authentication is a pain in the butt. They had to force me to use it before I did it, even though I know I need to.
I know. And it's not that hard,
It's not that hard. It's not, but I still complain about it, right?
I know.
But security practices make things more difficult. However, Claude makes things so easy to implement. It's just a matter of saying, do that, and then it's done. Like just remembering that we need to do it, having that on the list, feeding it into a machine that's assigning these, prioritizing these, whatever, and getting them done, I think would be huge.
Do you know how many automated agent-controlled little businesses we could have running under MPC? We could have so many little things that they have nothing to do with web development or AI. They're They're their own little things that are running.
I think the near future, in addition to being a lot about like human authenticity, is going to be about creativity. Our Claude AI slop generated a little thumbnail that really hit home, saying AI is leveling the playing field, so creativity is where people win, or some shit like that. I was like, I think that's true.
Our advantage to these AI websites is Kate.
She has a great taste. You know, that's not something that you can just replace. That will always have value. People don't even know that they have bad taste.
I'm pretty aware of my poor taste.
I was told I don't need to share design opinions, only functional opinions. I was told that. So
by Claude?
No,
probably. He's very stern.
Mac or Kate. It was way before. It was either Mac or Kate, one of them two.
Must have been me.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. I think that ideas and opinions should be shared, and then.
Oh, it didn't stop me.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
I told Kate yesterday, I don't like that picture on the header of the bowling website.
Do you ever play with music generation? Do you ever do AI music at all?
Just a couple times. Made a church hymnal.
I know there's a bunch of different tools out there. I still really enjoy Suno, and they just dropped 5.5, and now you can sing a little bit yourself, and it takes that and incorporates it into music.
How many of these discount tire shampoozy kind of business owners would love to get their hands on that, you know, to make the jingle of their dreams?
Or the jingle of the month. You know, you just keep on rolling.
I've been thinking for a long time, this is going to sound bad. No. What's going to happen when the shampoozy guy dies? Maybe we should approach them and say, hey, well, let's make, before he dies,
he never has to die.
Yeah, exactly.
You can have my kidneys.
Now, I love open source stuff. I've been using open source tools for a long time. So whenever anything AI open source comes out, it piques my interest. And I've been thinking, like, there's got to be a Claude code, the Claude desktop experience in the open source. Someone's got to have one, right? And sure enough, the creators of TikTok came out with one, ByteDance. They came out with one they call Deerflow. And they released it open source like 2 months ago, but it's barely ended up on my radar. And I installed it last night on a private server, a virtual server I have here at the house. But I was just blown away at how fast it was. It was just so fast. And because I can ask an OpenClaw to do stuff for me, and it's there thinking forever. And this one just zipping away. It was pretty neat. The other interesting thing to me is it's got a sandbox type mode or whatever. Every time you ask it to do a certain thing, it spins up its own little container, which is like a little Linux container. And that's where it runs these like crazy commands where it's creating Python scripts to scrape or whatever. And that was pretty cool because now it's not so scary to do stuff. Like if I need to download a repo or whatever it is. And it's pretty cool.
Have you played with Paperclip at all?
Not Paperclip, no.
So Paperclip's got something that's going pretty viral right now on GitHub, and it lets you self-host a whole team of AI agents to run a business autonomously, and you can deploy it on a platform like Zebra, and then you plug in whichever agents you want. You can have an HR, you can have a sales, you can have management, you can have a CTO, support, all these different responsibilities that you hire these different agents. They say hire. You utilize these different agents. And then you give the CEO the primary goal of the business. And then the CEO agent will set strategy, and he'll break the company goals down into projects. And the CTO controls the dev agents. He watches for GitHub issues. He writes the code and stuff like that. You've got a marketing agent that produces content and campaigns and monitors the performance.
They figured something out. I think it could be cool. Where does the human live in that equation? And what kind of business do they run? And what can this marketing and sales agent do?
That's where the human comes in. The human comes up with the idea of what kind of business to run.
I love going to the dentist, by the way. I always have. I think it's like a spa for your mouth. It's wonderful. And while there, they gave once a year, I think I'm getting x-rays, and they pulled them up, and they had an AI tool analyzing my x-rays to identify problem areas. And it generated a bunch of pretty cool charts and graphs and neat images with the little boxes around them. So the technician or whatever, hygienist, the lady was there and I was asking her all these questions. Like, what's that one mean? What's this mean? What does this bar mean? Is it supposed to be full or empty? Is it good or bad?
When I went to my dentist last week, I noticed that they're still using the same old system because I used to work for this dentist, and I was like, man, they're still using the same app. And I thought about saying, man, you're not going to upgrade to something else now? You know, Dentrix. It's called Dentrix.
That's what they use. They were using Dentrix, and it had the AI feature.
Oh, maybe I wonder if because he did my cavity search, and he just comes looks, and he's like, no, you're good, and then that's it.
Cavity search? You need a new dentist.
I want to know why cavity search is the wrong term.
Go ask your airport friends.
Go ask your dentist and your proctologist. See what they say.
I just got it.
Can you clip that so I don't have to explain my joke? I want my tooth to do something. You build that into my molar, I'm going to get all of them. I need a Bluetooth tooth. Mac, you're planting melons this weekend. How long will it take till you harvest? How long do melons take to grow in South Texas?
I don't know, 3 months? I'm not sure. I've never grown honeydew. I've never grown cantaloupe. The watermelons I did last year, I was getting melons all summer long, you know, so.
Really? Were they any good?
I love them. The variety I had was a small melon, personal size melon, perfect size for one person. And nobody doesn't like watermelon.
Sal hates it.
I do, actually. Mm-hmm. They always ask me what I'm allergic to, and I always say watermelon, because in kindergarten I broke out into a rash, and I've never ate it since.
You don't like any vegetables, so do you?
I'm pretty sure you've had a French fry. You ever want to do a whole pig, baby pig?
I've always wanted to do a whole pig. I always have. I have had wild pig that, you know, from out in the area, and my friend brought me some of the pork butts. It was good. It was just spicy. He said it was because they're out there
eating peppers.
Last night I made chicken and dumplings and
homemade dumplings?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. I've learned one thing. I don't like cooking as much as I used to because it's very time consuming and there's a lot of prep involved. And then,
Claude, make my dinner.
Can't we share responsibilities? I do all the cooking and you do all the cleaning up. Yeah.
Inside the studios.